My home church in Washington, D.C. is Silver Spring, Maryland. And about 10 years ago, we were all sitting in church just like this morning, and a hearse, a big black hearse with curtains at the windows, drove up into the church parking lot. It was a break between Sabbath school and church, and some of us were standing outside, and we were all a little amazed to see a hearse, which is normally associated with a funeral, because it was Sabbath and there was no funeral planned. And the door of the hearse opened and a young woman stepped out. And she came over to a group of us. I was standing there chatting with the pastor. And she came over and approached us and she said, is this a Seventh-day Adventist church? And we said, yes. And she said, well, do you have a bishop or a pastor here? And we said, well, yes, we do. In fact, you're talking to him right here. And I introduced her to the pastor. And she said, well, I need serious help right now. And so the pastor said, well, we will do whatever we can do. And she said, well, I am possessed by a demon. In fact, I have 4 demons in me. My mother was a witch. She's been using me as a medium since the age of 2. So from the age of 2, I've known nothing else except the devil and evil spirits. And she said, I am desperately anxious to get free from this condition. Can you help me? And the pastor said, well, we've got responsible people here in the church. We'll have a quick little meeting with them and see what they can do. Well, it is Washington. You can't do anything without a committee. So a quick little committee was called with the elders, etc. And the decision was made, no, we can't help you. But there is another church a mile away that we suggest you go to. And I found out later this young woman went to 4 different Seventh-day Adventist churches, all of them, I'm sure, believing in, quotes, the truth. And if you were to ask them, they would actually tell you we have the truth. And if you were to ask them if they believe in Jesus Christ, everyone would say, yes. And if you were to ask them whether they believe in the soon return of Jesus, they would say, yes. But I will never forget the moment as this young woman turned away quite sorrowfully. And I found out later visited 4 of our churches in the area and could not find one church that would address her situation. Later she managed to get herself enrolled at Columbia Union College. She enrolled in theology. She was still not delivered, but she enrolled in theology. And I happened to be teaching in the theology department at that time in the college. And so once again I came across this young woman. And one night in the middle of my class, the demons manifested within her. I won't describe what she did because it's quite revolting. But I was forced to address her situation again. And in a moment of great clarity, she sat up and she said, can you help me or not? And I said, yes, we can help you. And Hyveth Williams, whom some of you know, was one of my students at the time. And Hyveth had come to a calling into ministry through one of my seminars, and so we were closely connected. And Hyveth and I agreed that we would get together and we would meet the needs of this young woman, and so we arranged for the following Thursday to have a deliverance for her. It was a very exciting night, actually, and God was gracious. And as we came together, one after another, 4 demons came out, each one cursing and blaspheming. And this young woman, whose name was Kathy, was delivered. And I remember saying to Hyveth at the time, we must guarantee her now support 24 hours a day for the next several weeks and maybe months. Because it's quite biblical, and it has happened before for people who've been delivered to find the demons wanting to return back into them again. So we will need to build a hedge around her and offer her the love and support that she's desperately seeking. The next morning, the college administration, without consulting me, called this young woman in and expelled her from the college because they said we can't have such sensational things happening on our campus. And I was rebuked for putting myself in a situation that I would be part of something so extravagant. I've never forgotten these experiences because I said to myself, that college and these churches, if you were to ask them, would all say the same thing. We have the truth. And my message to you this morning is, it's not enough to have, quotes, the truth. We need the complete life and ministry of Jesus Christ in any church. And it doesn't matter the condition that any sinner may be in. There's no fear, there's no reluctance to move into ministry in behalf of that person. Are we not called to heal the sick, raise the dead even, it says? In my name, said Jesus, ye shall cast out demons. I believe that any church that has the truth will be empowered, as we saw last night, to act in ministry because it'll be really Jesus acting in ministry. Jesus acting in ministry.